check this out. Tie game with
What's up, Ray?
Not a whole lot. Just happy to be here in Paris. It's my second time. Awesome city. I love being here.
What is it like to be officially retired?
You know, it's awesome. There's a bit of sadness because you leave behind such great lasting memories. But to be able to do something like this, this time of year, I never would have been able to do this. So to be able to, fly now across the seas and be in Paris, it shows, just how far the NBA has traveled, how far sneakers have traveled, and how they've transcended basketball. It's more than just a shoe that you put a ball through hoop in. It's a lifestyle now, and that's something that I've been able to see firsthand as my career's unfolded.
I can see you have the 11 Space Jam.
Yeah.
Is it your favorite model?
My favorite model, my favorite Jordan, and I think for everybody, it's interesting because no matter where you go, it does speak to the kid, the generation.
Yeah.
Because most of us, certain shoes that we love based on what we grew up with. And it's interesting because the 15, 16, on up, I was playing in the NBA, wearing the shoes. So a lot of kids like, my favorite shoe is the 15. And typically because they were in high school and that's probably their first Jordan that they got, and it takes them back to those earlier years, like a song does or like a smell does. Or something that your mom cooked that takes you back to when you were growing up. And so for me, it was the 4. I didn't wear it, I didn't own it at the time, but I just remember, those days I was growing up and I seen certain kids in the neighborhood that had it. And the 5 was similar too. So, between the 4 and 5, those were really, they hit me at a time in my life where I was, pretty much, I was an impressionable kid and I was really taking the basketball and I really started watching the game. Jordan
brand strengths to be able to make young people who have never seen Michael Jordan on playground wear Jordan on their feet.
Most definitely. What he's done for the game.
Michael taking off, the patented tongue comes out. Just in front of that line. Look at this, the double clutch, the reach out.
The kids don't realize when the shoe dropped when he was playing, and he was playing in the playoffs, like, I don't think anybody's ever been able to rival that draw like he did with his shoes, just putting out what he did. And they were just, you would see a shoe he wore in the NBA playoffs and then he'd wear something different in the NBA finals and it'd be like, what? When are we gonna get those? And so kids nowadays, they just know that they're the latest and the greatest shoe and they don't realize the connection. It's almost like when you hear a hip hop song, you don't realize this hip hop song is a remake of a classic song, a sample of something in the 70s or 80s.
You always seems to have the image of the perfect son-in-law, the perfect gentleman. Don't you have any flaws?
Yeah, I have a lot of flaws.
Right?
I think with me the most important thing is just having good people around you. So when you do have those moments of weakness or you kind of step out of line every now and then, step out of bounds, you just always have people that will cover up your weaknesses or make sure that you are doing and saying the right things. Because everybody, I think, nobody's perfect. And, just having that perfect team around you that can, shore up your weaknesses does help you when you, as you navigate through life.
You got drafted in '96.
In the 1996 NBA draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Ray Allen from the University of Connecticut.
It was the legendary draft as Kobe, Steve Nash. Do you think back on this determining time of your life right now?
It's very, interesting how we springboard into the professional life from where we come in college. We're so young and so impressionable by, the city that we moved to, the veteran players that you have on the team, the coach that you have to mentor you. So it does affect how your NBA career starts off, because again, if you don't have the right people around you, sometimes it gets the best of you, because you want to be good and you want to grow and be the best player, make the all-star team, you want to make money, you want to do all these things. So that draft period for all of us, you want to set out into the world. You don't know what you're going to be able to accomplish, but you just want to start at that starting point and do something great with your life. And I believe that, it does have an effect on you where you get drafted. But then once you see where the cards fall, regardless of what city you get drafted to, you have to make the best of it.
And what was the greatest moment in your entire career?
Well, I've been fortunate. When I look at my career, I've lost a lot of games, and then, the flip side, I've won a lot. So, and if you ask me, I would have to say some of my best moments are the times where I struggled, the times when I was on teams where we lost, because, when you win, you just kind of forget everything. You kind of move on to the next day. You just go home and you just drop everything. But the games I've lost, the seasons I've lost, they just they weigh so heavy on your heart. And what that does is it sets you up for the next time where, if I ever go back to NBA Finals, or when the start of the next season comes, over the summer, you think about these things that you're going to try to do to improve on who you are. So I think those moments are the ones that kind of polarized in my career, because the losing prompted me up to want to continue to win. So more than any shot that I've ever taken, I've had some great teammates and I've had some bad teammates. So it's an equal balance of everything.
Interesting. And what about your legendary three-point in the Game 6 against Spurs?
Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean, now removed from it, probably the greatest shot that I've hit ever in my career. Being in a final situation where it swung the outcome of the game. Never have I been in a situation like that where it's feast or famine. You make it, we're going to win. If I don't make it, then we pretty much lost that game and we lose the NBA championship. So and more so that because social media really was so present at that moment more than any time in my career, and everybody saw it, and it changed a lot.
You're not only a great basketball player, you are an actor. Mm-hmm. You played in a good game.
You have a son named Jesus Shuttlesworth? Is your son considered the #1 high school prospect in these United States?
He's awesome, baby, with a capital F!
Governor's made a request that your son seriously consider enrolling in his alma mater, Big State. The governor's given me his word. He'll do everything in his power to cut your time here short.
Could you explain to us how did this happen?
Well, I actually run a parallel with Space Jam.
Pardon me, Mr. Jordan. Could I have your John Hancock?
What's going on here?
You know how Michael Jordan, what he did for athletes, not just basketball players. He made it so appealing to sponsors to want to deal with athletes because they can sell product.
Gravity has been rejected.
I credit him for, doing everything he did and opening the door for a lot of us. And Space Jam was something that I watched as a kid. It was cool because he was working with cartoons.
Ready? Yeah!
He had other NBA players in the movie. So what it showed me was all you have to do is be good at what you're good at.
Yeah.
Focus on what you're good at, and then the other things will come. Like, I wasn't starting my life, my career, trying to be an actor. I wasn't trying to be a golfer or anything other than just, I'm a basketball player. With basketball, it helps us branch out into so many other avenues if you keep your options open and you keep an open mind. So I knew, we do commercials, for the shoes. We do commercials for our team. So we're so comfortable around the camera, behind the camera, in front of the camera. And, that opportunity to be in He Got Game presented itself. And it was like, basketball movie, I didn't have to be uncomfortable. although it was uncomfortable acting because you had to do things that you know, be emotional. Like basketball is a game that you never get too high and you try not to get too low. Acting is you throw all that out the window. You know, if I want people to read my face and understand, you know, sometimes my nonverbal skills to be able to make you feel or think what I'm thinking without me opening my mouth, I just got to show on my face. Yeah. So that was something I had to learn because, you know, sometimes our emotions we're so bottled up, you know, because you don't want your opponent to know they got the best of you, or you don't want him to think that he's, you know, just, you know, a step ahead of you, or that you're tired. So you kind of keep it like, you keep that poker face. But again, in acting, it was therapy, I think, a lot for me because you were able to open up a little bit more than we were able to.
Is it possible to see you again in a movie someday? Yeah,
it's possible. Yeah, it's really, real possible. So now, just having recently retired, I think, you know, it's, you know, I'll start at least looking into other projects.
And what kind of relationship do you have with Spike Lee now, despite the fact he wanted to hire you in Knicks?
Yeah. We have a pretty good relationship. I see him, you know, quite often throughout the summer. I think in the basketball landscape, he's somewhat of an important figure. Such a diehard basketball fan. As much as everybody knows he's a Knicks fan, it's giving other people the voice to, you know, feel like it's okay to rep your team and to really be a diehard and where your team comes wherever you go. And he's been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, so I think a lot of other people have, you know, they've taken up that same similar approach with their teams. Like, I'm sitting courtside and this is my team, and no matter where I go, I'm always repping my team, whether they're good or bad. And so, and everywhere he goes, he promotes the game of basketball, and he loves the game and he loves the players. So it's always good talking to him because, you know, we always, you know, have pretty good conversation about hoops.
And what about Denzel?
I see him from time to time, but Denzel is, you know, it's always interesting. Like, whenever I see him, he's always in between like 2 or 3 movies. But, you know, it's tougher for actors because, you know, when you go from set to set, you're always inundated with, you get rest and you're on a movie set for 14 hours a day. So I don't see him as much, but, you know, when I do see him, we always have a lot to catch up on.
Movies like A Good Game, White Man Can't Jump.
I want to find out how good you are, chump.
I'm your white shadow.
Aren't the proof that basketball is not only a sport, but a real culture?
It's interesting if you travel the world and you see, you know, whatever particular country, you know, what sport that they take to, you can see how the programs that exist, you know, they start at younger ages. Kids have great coaches. They have the opportunities to, you know, have the, you know, if it's golf clubs, you got good golf clubs, you got a good course to play, or if it's field hockey, you know, you have that equipment, and, you know, you just put it in the child's hand at a young age. And I think a lot is, you see the parents of the kids that, not because they're forcing them into it, but because the parent is doing it. You know, if a parent goes cycling every weekend, the kids are 9 times out of 10 going to say, "Dad, can you buy me a bicycle? I want to go riding with you someday." And so, culturally, you know, our kids are going to jump into whatever they see their kids doing, and one of our parents kind of gravitate towards or around. And basketball is just that. In our country, you know, you can go in any neighborhood. In the center of the neighborhood, you might see like a jungle gym where the kids with the swing set and the slide, but then right next to it, there's going to be a basketball court, and there might be 4 basketball courts there. And so you can play by yourself up to 5-on-5. And that's one of the greatest things about basketball. And it makes for, you know, great, you know, team building for kids, you know, teaching them how to really work together with each other. And that's one of the reasons, or one of the things that I learned, the valuable lessons of teamwork. You know, we talk about it all the time, but, you know, imprinting those skills on children at such a young age is so important because, you know, we don't live in a world by ourselves.
What did you plan to fill up your day? right now?
I have 4 young boys.
I got 6 fucking kids. You know how much money that is to put them through school? You know how many Air Jordan 6 black kids wear?
Oh.
Yeah, they are starting to play basketball and they enjoy it, but they also play flag football and they play soccer. They play lacrosse. They play golf. So
a lot of sports.
Yeah, so and it's 4 of them. So between the days and the weekends, like, you know, we're sitting on a field somewhere at a court in the gym, and I'm watching them play. So, you know, my dad, when I was in high school, he didn't miss a game. So a lot of the stuff that I did in high school, he has on video because he recorded everything. So I just always knew it was great when you go somewhere and your parents are there to support you, and I think that means everything to the kids growing up knowing that they have the support. So I try to make sure that I'm always there for my kids.
I wish you the best for the future.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Yeah.
Thank you.